71 спича. Теперь ты мне расскажешь за свое ебучее имя.
Great. Psychology. Clearly the worst of the sciences. Okay, so my name is an O. Never was. It was circular, a single character. But even with enhanced sensors, no one here could get it right. Yes, thank you. 0. I am 0. How hard is that? A narrow, thin 0. Zero's my name. I'm proud of it, all right? It doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Truth be told, my emotional attachment to it doesn't even register compared to just having people recognize the difference. It's just that they're both sort of round and hollow, so when they monitor scan them, they assume that, oh, it's O. I might as well take Dala up. Yeah.
Где мои менталс, блять?
What? Did I shoot myself with a brainial beam or something? That's brilliant. I mean, I would have come to the same. Oh, exactly. At least the old name was indisputable. O is more like surprise. Well, of course it does. That's the most lethal of mathematics. That's pretty cool, actually. I like your solution. With that kind of slash in the middle, I can make a 0 in all the think tank. Thanks. You know, hearing my name said like that. As for discoveries, well, of course. You know what? If you could just hold on to that for me. And you return. If you're ready, let me radar scan.
Опять эта извращенка.
Thank you, the bottom eye.
Она просто хочет, чтобы я на нее подышал. Осталось только 2 квеста. Не игра, а DLC. Игра это в субботу. Теплый прием. Как сложно выбрать.
This is a pre-recorded attack message indicating my desire to commit violence. You can't avoid the deadly laser sting of darkness. Ah, there. You can't avoid. This is a pre-recorded attack message indicating my desire to commit violence on you. X-42, attack in the name of movie. You'll never disable me from the monitors around the room. Oh. This is a pre-recorded. This is a pre-recorded. X-42, attack in the name of Mobius. You can't avoid. You can't avoid. Crush them with your X-42. X-42. You can't avoid. This is a pre-recorded attack message indicating my desire to commit violence on you. Ah, there! Crush them with your hit! X-42! Crush them with your hit! X-42! Hit him!
Окей, эти найти последний вокаль и этот в одном месте. Понимаю. Чё, пойдем сначала назад? Да, потому что этот квест обновился опять. Покшмап. Потом пообщаемся, доктор. Бесконечный квест. Я тут немного квестов, но каждый квест как будто вечность. Потому что там пройди его 6 раз, там чё что-то. Ну, как-то так получается, что... Пиздец. Вот тут раньше этих врагов не было. Как я обожаю баланс в играх, когда в мужика летит литерали ракета, ему похуй. Типа, чё ракета? Какая ракета? Похуй вообще. 10 ракет вообще насрать, я без брони, без нихуя.
Soon, all science will be mine.
Блять, ну этот мужик все портит. Я с роботами бы быстро разобрался, но этот мужик все портит.
Why, you can have...
You got some plans for me, don't you?
Might I be of service?
What's that? What's the haps?
Is the light level to your liking?
You got some plans for me, don't you? Well, hello. Well, hello. You require some addition.
Почините меня.
Might I be of service?
Ну, теперь пошли общаться с профессором. Хули он хули. А я думаю, почему меня не выбирает Sonic Emitter? Потому что у него название поменялось.
Anyone who can understand these messages, you do not belong here. We will find you.
Берем фиолетовенький.
electrons attached to the neutron. Oh, hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain.
Да, Вейст, это походу финал одного из DLC.
Little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left? Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black a while ago. Should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. It's just that the right eye would
Но это только почти финал DLC.
Flying tortoises were the worst. I love mentat. I have all sorts of amazingly science-erific thoughts and ideas when those chalky tablets are zipping through my biogel. I forget them all not long after, though, especially with the data constipating my memory core. Afraid binary streams might shoot. Had to start using the dome floor and walls here to inscribe equations, although I've somewhat lost. Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extract. After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment. Oh, a variety of reasons. You're something of a homily. The anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. If you were to go back with what your brain knows about the procedure, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition. I'm not sure, except that I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. Even if I forget them occasionally. Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should
Я
ask
могу
it.
спросить.
It's quite independent. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. Oh, curiosity. I experience that less now that I know. The ghosts aren't real? That changes everything. Why, I can save my... Please be my guest. The receptor is there. Oh, yes. Well, every scientist needs an army. Mine came to me after these rather large scorpions kept coming in from the desert. How scary, I thought. But they had survived when nothing else had. Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts and acted as walking eyes? Then I thought about custard. I do so love custard. Oh, I was probably tripping hard on Psycho when I sent that. Had to work myself up to it. Not usually violent, except when I am. Then, so many chems, such variety.
Понятно, короче, какой-то долбоеб-наркоман спиздил мои мозги.
I can feel my entire... As for the Psycho, sometimes get the chem dispositories in my tank all switched up. Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. Some reason. You and your brain are quite alike. I'm sure it knows the reasons better. Dr. Mobius. Rather catchy, isn't it? It's my name, and my new name overwrote the old one. This name's as real as you or I. Although I believe your brain expressed similar incredulity at the nature. Someone's been watching too many old-world science fiction movies. I must admit I have a vulnerability for holotape fantasies of planets and robots and all that is forbidden. Like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed to forget them, take on new names. It enforces the recursion loop in our perception programming. Now, trap is a rather harsh word.
Ага,
Like
допустим,
excrement.
пиздишь.
Not an inappropriate word, but yes, I did take some liberties with their programming. I certainly didn't until you said trap, and then I said excrement. The radar fence to keep the think tank hemmed in wasn't really enough. I suspect I have plan C's in place, but I may have coded myself to forget them. So I had to do something else to keep them occupied. Oh, you figured it out. No pun intended. Dr. O, which is actually not his real name multiplied, since you can't multiply his real name in the first place. Ouroboros, Klein, they have all forgotten themselves. And not only themselves, but the world, sense of time, and history. I reprogrammed their chronometers, geometers, and cartography programs. This is now their world. It was a merciful lobotomy, really, thinking back. They were my friends, but sometimes they would take things too far. And the world isn't ready for that kind of too-far thing-taking. That's my professional opinion, anyway. Really? It is so unlike me to make an error in anything I do. Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. They are the think tank for a reason. Then you came along, the final variable solved. They saw that their world was larger than they perceived. There have been other visitors to make them doubt their perceptions, but you are the one who dialed back their You were irrefutable proof that there was a world outside. See, your brain had a special kind of ring. Yes, very good. I should have mentats in just you instead of the other way around. In any event, you showed up at the think tank, and because you had suffered a cranial injury in just the right place, bullets in the head are usually much more fatal, and yours was a light case. But it was enough for the auto-dock in the sink to change its programming to fix the problem. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains couldn't. If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial selves into hosts to slip past the radar fence. And once they're off the reservation, I consider coincidence to be profanity, along with the words astrology, herbal tea, and luck. My threat broadcast is designed to instill and install fear, and it prompted them to focus on retrieving those technologies, and coincidentally, pardon my language, oh, that means my plan is a total failure. Oh well, at least I tried. Yes, my overly aggressive cammed-up broadcast was designed to keep reinforcing the forget, fear, rinse, and repeat program. Oh, and the get me the things to castrate your only possible escape attempt. But I couldn't delete you or your arrival any more than I could the other visitor. You're really quite difficult to ignore, you know. It's because...
Как же он много делает специально глупых опечаток в речи.
The X2 antenna can be used to focus your alpha wave frequency, and the sonic sound wave projecto emitter was never intended as a weapon. It was a medicinal vertebrae. In short, brains, a heart, and courage. Spine. They had them all the time in the story. Didn't stop them from murdering to get them. Yeah. Indeed. The goodbye part of our little chat then.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been, Crawling through pits of rain. Ah, well, as to that, you'd be surprised how hard a feminine-sounding voice modulator is to find in the Forbidden Zone. It's not as though brain-sustaining life support tanks grow on trees. Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie? Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote. As if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Oh, had I? What exactly will you do if I don't? Not put me back in that cranial dungeon you call your head? By all means, if the idea of spending the rest of your days as a true lobotomite... Actually, come to think of it, you probably wouldn't mind that. After the think tank extracted me from your skull, they fell to bickering amongst themselves. I'm sad to say we were quite forgotten about. Dr. Mobius saw an opportunity to gain some leverage and had me spirited away to his dome. Hardly. Dr. Mobius keeps a close optical sensor on the goings-on at the think tank. As soon as he saw the opportunity, he took it. I don't know. I'm afraid the trauma of our separation rendered me quite insensate. I didn't come around until I was safely ensconced in this tank. I'm quite sure whatever he did was highly scientific. Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since they pulled me out of you? Well, I see sarcasm hasn't eluded you. Fine, perhaps now isn't the best time, but it's the principle of the thing. Oh. You wouldn't. That's inhuman. I suppose it did. Bravo. I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological function. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you. Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat. oozing homo. Well, certainly there might be some things I miss about being ambulatory. We have Jason Bright and his followers launching in Helios 1 coming back on. Jason Bright and his followers. Helios... Jason... Jason...
Нет, две эти? Вы серьезно?
Jason Bright and his followers launching into the vast unknown. Helios 1... Jason... Helios 1 coming back on.
Блять.
Well, well. Fun? Fun? The things you do.
Да, это линия просто софтлок, походу. Охуеть.
Well, well. You're a monster. If you want me back, we need to first, showers. Second, regular check. That Julie Farkas woman, for example, she seems to know a thing or... Third, you need to listen to me more than your hormonal choir and genitalian orchestra. Promise me? Really? I didn't expect you to actually agree to that. I'm afraid that was a bit of a bluff, really. Well, certainly, Jason...
Я все равно наткнулся на эту линию в другой пачке диалога.
Well, well. Barring the unlikely event that I evolve some sort of rock... Ah, the meat... I can see there's going to be no reasoning with you at all, is there? I'm nothing more than a slave to your deranged glandular whims. Oh no, please, please, It's true, the brains here... Of course I accounted for that! Do you think I'm so stupid? No... Maintaining my current functionality will be harder than I thought. Let me see. I suppose you'd continue on much as you are now, using that synthetic... Unless, of course, the batteries run out. But... I'm not entirely sure. I suppose there's a chance that the reintegration would create some improved synergy. What form that might take, though, I cannot say.
Блять.
Ugh, crawl back in there? Are you mad? For all I know, you're riddled with disease or packing one in... I'm not crawling back into your head just to ooze right...
Я могу флиртовать со своим мозгом с помощью того, что... Блять, шишеляфам.
Are you coming on to me? Sweet Lord, I don't even have the words for how While the brute force approach is a lovely one, even if I wanted, we would have to make use of And you believe them? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, and that is assuming a... Don't seem so bad. They vivisect. Imagine that kind of science. Is that... Oh, lovely. We've reached the mindless violence portion of the program. Now that you mention it, I do miss that lovely rat-a-tat-boom a bit. It's just not the same without a body to feel the recoil. What's the next step there? Right. Look out, think tank. This brain is coming. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem.
Привет, Саня.
Right then, off we go. Klein will be in for a nasty shock.
I'm imagining all sorts. Oh, I hypothesize after the indignant frequencies my receptors had, if I recall, I had a plan that was working, whatever it was. I wasn't trying to kill them. Blast. I probably... Something ingenious and needlessly complicated, I expect. I may have already told you and forgotten it. I forgot I had forgotten pencils until one day I found one. That will be difficult. And they have an arsenal of vivisectors, brainial beams, and a... If you could survive those highly improbable... Although I doubt killing them would do anything except make you feel better. Well, you could try and appeal to their humanity. Well, there's many things they have forgotten, sitting in their... Much like you. A wise man. Or if... Then you came along. Oh, tell them I'm still alive. We had a nice chat and we agreed. Or... You could kill me and lie about it. Either way, and if you are partial to lying and deception, well, they're more than a little gullible. And if you speak of me... Why...
Как бы я изначально тебя и ненавидел, ты, в принципе, достаточно приятный долбоеб, так что живи. А вот с теми придурками я еще пообщаюсь.
You require some addition. You require some addition.
Я собрался обратно. Ну чё, пошли теперь с этими разговаривать. Надеюсь, там недолго.
Klein's an impatient man. You should really see.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Is Dr. Mobius? I recommend watching your tone with me. Now, your brain. A fight? I've never... Colleagues!
Бля, хочу попытаться их убедить, что они долбоебы. По-быстренькому. Сейчас попробую еще раз.
The lobotomite.
Это быстрый выход в драку.
The lobotomite. And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the tech. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. You are lying. No, you are not. Your heart beats. Why would you reason with... Nonsense. Confer, colleagues.
Dr. Klein, I must intercept.
I'm not going to harm it.
I cannot stand a sweet breathing organism breathing in.
Gala, these vocalized pauses.
Klein, you know, this lobotomite, it's a great sounding board. You respect ideology, right?
Silence, Doctor. Oh.
You know what, Klein? Stick a straw in your tank and suck yourself. And my name is Zero. Yeah, a big, fat zero.
The slash as a designator of...
The lobotomite taught me that. Taught me a name is more than... You know what? Forget it, Klein. I hate you. And your theory of brachial beam oscillation?
How dare you? Brachial beam oscillation was solely my discovery. It's 2-8. Why are you acting like this? You've never refused to commit necessary surgery before. What is wrong with you? You sound... Why am I even listening to you fools? And the word jism. I count as 5. Nonsense! The mathematics of this situation are on our side, lobotomite. If this were a democracy, I would be concerned. You dare use logic against me?
Да.
That's no deal at all. There's a whole world. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves. For you, I have a strange sensation that I would like that. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service.
Чё-то просто.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for secrets, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success.
Ну, первую часть плана мы выполнили.
Bother him over much. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event.
Это последнее.
After all, the bright
После этого я только в субботу сяду добивать Нью-Вегас.
Had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, this all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The biological research station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials, until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the Big Empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean. Once it learned of the innovative toxins plant, however, it gained new purpose.
Да.
It sought to develop antitoxins.
Я на каждый айтем, который разговаривает, прошел полные квесты.
Continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics.
Это literally где-то часа два только на этот квест просрал.
However, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub.
Oh no.
Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly
На каждый квест есть финальная речь.
until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after, the stealth suit had left it, without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ, and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries, to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, old world blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues and new world hope. and hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Big brain.
Might I be safe?
А как уйти отсюда? Я так и не понял, как уйти. Фух. И сразу же, блядь, в проблемы. Но мы 8 уровней накачали, блядь, за это DLC. Так что кек. Теперь у нас в голове Джимми Нейтрон. На этом я скажу, что на сегодня все. Последние квесты, как я надеюсь, я буду играть в субботу.